Welcome everybody. It has been a while, super duper busy. I hope you're doing all well. I'm going to do this quick update because so much has been happening in the crypto market and we are in our fourth leg of the bull market. And as I predicted in my last videos about 5 weeks ago, everything that I was talking about, particularly with veracities and holos, they're all taken off. And you would have made some awesome profit. So make sure these things are time sensitive, so try to keep subscribed to the channel and make sure you share that with your friends if you're trying to get them also to produce wealth in their portfolios. I'll do my best to keep you updated with anything coming up, but what I do want to say is right now you pretty much should have all your bags loaded. Everybody that has been in crypto this year or in the last few months should have been looking at all the hot projects to be involved with, also the big blue chips. So you've always got your Ethereums, your Bitcoin, your Cardanos, your Thetas, your Polkadot. Now Polkadot's waking up too, which is great, and all the ecosystem attached to it, the Luna, Terra network, Solana. This week in Portugal, Lisbon, Solana is going to be running their big workshop, which presents where they're at, which is awesome news, because from that you'll see a lot of spikes in prices because people will get the intel and the insights into the potential of projects, and this is where people get excited. So there'll be hype behind this. So if you haven't already got your Solana bags, well, it might be too late. There's a lot of projects coming off Solana, hundreds, I think it's nearly 200, could be more by now, I don't know. Projects that are involved with the Solana network, so they're the ones you want to be looking at. If you know how to use your MetaMask and your Uniswaps, you can buy a lot of those on that. There are other exchanges apart from CoinSpot, even though I recommend just try to keep it all central to one exchange, particularly for newbies who don't quite understand all the ins and outs of crypto trading and what's involved with all the wallets, addresses, and how to transfer and codes, so how to use your Google authenticators. There's, once you get used to it, it's quite straightforward, but it is, even still, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. Don't get caught up in buying prices that have already reached their quite high. Even though they're planned or projected to continue to keep going, it's still a risk, because right now in the market, if you look at a lot of the data stats, right now we've got a really high amount of liquidity, leverage in the market, and liquidity suffers from that because leverage is like multiples of what truly is available. So that can't hold too long and for too long, because market makers need to start to bring things back down to earth. Market makers are the opposite. When you go into buying a Forex or a contract to trade, let's say Bitcoin, they have to take the opposite position to the retail buyer. So if a retail buyer is buying, which they have been, then the market maker needs to sell. So with doing that, when you sell, they start taking their positions, and their business model is to make a profit at some point. So if the prices keep going up while the retail buyers and the market maker is doing the opposite, selling, there needs to be a recorrection at some point. So you want to be attentive to this potential happening any day soon. There might be a recorrection at some point, and if so, don't panic, of course, because it's part of the nature of the game. If you're one of the people who got in crypto selling this year in 2021, you've got your positions, you might want to hold long. The long game is always, in my opinion, the safer game and the better game, because if you had held Theta from last year or Holo, you'd be up multiples, massive multiples, like 30x on your return. So, and if you chopped and changed, you would have missed a lot of those spikes. So it's one of those things. I just say, be patient. Don't think you're a day trader or anything like that. Don't try to be a day trader, because that's how you get you caught up into the YouTube channels that telling you to buy and sell all the time. Sure, you can do a bit of that, that's good, but one thing you want to be alert of is not getting caught up in hype and stories. But learning to trade using technical analysis, I love doing that. It's what got me into cryptos. The fundamentals are good, but they can sort of bring in too much emotion. So technical analysis is really just telling us when to buy and sell, and to have a conviction and confidence, and just to be at peace with whatever decision you made. So in one of my videos about 4 videos ago, I think it was, I talked about Solana. It hit about $70 and peaked at 90. I sold my positions, half of my position at that point, and I said, look, the RSI is quite high, but what it did, it came back down again and then took off again. So now Solana's around the 330, 350 so Australian dollars. So that was that was that half that I took out or wanted to buy back in. I never got the buy-in price. So you know, that there's half my portfolio. I'm at peace with that because I know half of it's still in for the big wins, and the other I got cash flow to play with in other cryptos. So you've got to be really light with your thinking, but you've also got to be strategic. So Holochain they've basically launched out their new their roadmap, their timetable, whatever you want to call it, and it shows that hopefully by 2022, early to mid, I'd say second quarter of the year, they might be ready to finally launch mainnet, and that would be amazing, because then what's so amazing about Holos, if you look into it, it doesn't just work on speed, or it doesn't just work on transaction peer-to-peer. It doesn't just work on one or two things. It works on hundreds of things, and there's so many projects already built on that. Developers have done so much work already that it's a really innovative space, and it will revolutionize the crypto world in general. It's not just the fact that it's a currency, a stable one. It'll have so much to it. So definitely keep an eye out on Holochain. I did want to make a video 2 weeks ago or 3, and in the last week and a half or so, it started to wake up again, and that's an indicator that we now, the people inside who really know about the Holo network and the project, are starting to buy up again, and probably shifting some of their other profiteering projects into this one because they want to be in it for the big ride. This is the most important play, in my opinion, is to have a significant portion of your portfolio exposed to the Holo network. Not all of it, of course. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket, but definitely, you've got maybe 10% in 10 different projects is a great strategy. It's one strategy, there are many, but if you're in 50 projects and you've got more capital to play with, you can be more significantly exposed to a lot of these plays. Right now there's a lot of small gaming, small cap gems that are really starting to explode. There's interest from Facebook buying out. They've renamed their parent company Meta. Meta is basically short for metaverse. Metaverse is where the gaming industry is at, the virtual reality, VR. That's a huge industry. Even though those who are conscious aren't playing those games, those who are unconscious in the illusionary world are playing those games. And so there's big money being flooded there. For the extra long term, I wouldn't be too exposed, but for the short term, definitely. Some games, just because they come out, they're exploding. So, if you can get a small percentage of your portfolio exposed to gaming, there's a lot of games like Illuvium, Wild, Hero. But the problem is that a lot of them aren't on CoinSpot. They're usually on more obscure type, or let's say just exchanges that are not in Australia, of course, and they're overseas. So KuCoins, Binance. So if you've got the bravery to brave it out and learn how to use those other exchanges, good. If not, you can get consultations. I can guide you through how to do that and how to move cryptos around, how to get it onto cold storage. Good idea is with the whole World Economic Forum is they say predicting, but it's actually a threat. They're threatening to have a cyber attack come through next, and if that's the case, you want to have a lot of your crypto off exchanges and you want to have it onto cold storage. So how to do that, that's a whole consultation, or a few minutes at least, in a consultation to step you through and get you to do it over the phone. That's always very valuable information, because once you learn how to do it and you get practice at it, you sort of know that you can protect your cryptos even if there is a hack on the whole internet. Then they're talking about bringing measures to cleanse the internet, like virus protection, vaccine type things for the internet. So you got to be careful with all that stuff, because that just means more control, more oversight, more of the overlords having control in your pockets. You got to choose what you decide you want to be exposed to. So remember, diversification is really significant and a good survival strategy. So don't just have everything in crypto. You might have some in the bank for your bills. 3 to 6 months is a good strategy. Have that already in cash in the bills. You might have some cash, tangible cash as well. So if banks lock up from using money, you've got some cash flow still. You might have some gold and silver as a store of value. You may have some food, definitely have food supplies, 3 to 6 months worth of food supply. That's always a good asset, and make sure you use it up so it doesn't go off. But stay on top of your supplies. There's a lot of information coming to the planet right now from all angles and all around the world. You won't see it on mainstream, but it's out there, and there's a lot of predictions. Whether they come true or not, it's not the point. You just want to be prepared. Be realistic. Don't be too much in hopium, where you think, you know, everything's all going to come good all of a sudden just because everybody's got that thing in their arm. That's not necessarily going to be true. That's just the beginning. There's a lot more to come from there. There might be a lot of devastation. There might be natural events. Just be prepared. Have things that you need at home, because they're valuable to your survival if something ever does happen. You know, have a working vehicle if you need to go somewhere, if some catastrophe happens or whatever. You know, just be prepared. Crypto consciousness is about consciousness in general. The crypto is just a tool to enhance our survival and our consciousness, and hopefully to share more of a peaceful existence on Earth. And it's not just focused about money. Definitely not. That's a portion of it, but that's just to get the things that we need. So if it's eco-friendly living, if it's eco-friendly energy, this is where we need to be using those returns into producing. So if you know someone that's clever with converting cars to using water, do that. You know, find out ways to share information and do it for free. Do that stuff for free. I do this YouTube for free, so I'm not expecting any return from it except to help people who are connected to me, who want to be connected to the crypto movement, to benefit from it. But make sure you're helping others in the process. Obviously, you know, you're not doing this just for yourself. You're doing it for everybody around you, because it's no fun being the only survivor on the planet, right? So if you want, consider yourself as a community. You know, that's what I like to see this channel as. So if you can support it by hitting like, make sure you're logged into your YouTube account. Everyone should have a YouTube account by now. A premium account is worthwhile because you can pretty much turn the screen off while you're listening to a talk, because you don't need to see all the picture, and that wastes battery and data. So you may as well just turn the screen off and just hear the vocals on it. That could just be the information that you need to hear in that moment. So the premium account's really good for that. Turn the screen off while you're listening. You don't get ads. You can create your own folders of what you like. So you've got to have a YouTube account to do that. I don't have any links for that, so just go about doing it yourself, finding it on YouTube. What I do have links for is for those who want to get into crypto. So I've got the KuCoin exchange discount link. I think I took the Binance off because I stopped using that one. I've got the CoinSpot link for a bit of Bitcoin bonus when you sign up with my referral link. You know, they're small things. They're not going to change my life or yours, but they're still something to benefit from. But apart from that, guys, I just want you to stay well, stay level-headed, and make sure that, you know, I didn't want to put the charts on today because I'm driving. Got a pretty important meeting today, and we're going to come up with some great ideas into moving forward, which I hope to share you in the future. But for now, I want you to have a good week. Take care, keep smiling, remember to enjoy your breath, because that's the essence of your temple. Eat good food, good clean water, eliminate all the processed rubbish, and you know, share good times with your friends. Make sure you hug everybody. Take care.